Hey guys, I'm Faida and today we're going to be talking about the African diaspora in Peru.
Freedom is
Now before I start, some of you will know that I work in different Latin American countries offering African diaspora tours, including Peru. So if you're interested in doing my Black History tour in Peru, then please do get in touch. Now, let's get to it.
When people think of Peru, they think of the Incas, Machu Picchu, alpacas, llamas, and possibly the cutest guinea pigs in the world, which are also a national delicacy.
But they don't think of blackness, which is funny because when you look at the national Peruvian football team, you see a whole lot of melanin. So let's set the record straight and take a look at the African diaspora in Peru.
The exact size of the Afro-Peruvian population is unknown. Credible sources state that up to 3 million people, that's 10% of the Peruvian population, are Afro-descendant. The regions with the highest concentrations of Afro-Peruvians are found in and around the capital of Lima, the neighbouring district of El Callao, along the southern coast in Chincha and Cañete, and in the northern region of Piura, particularly in Saña and Yapatera.
From the 1500s through to the mid-1800s, the slave trade flourished in Peru. Thousands of enslaved Africans were trafficked to Peru, mostly to El Callao, just outside of Lima, which was a major slave trading port.
In major cities and urban areas, enslaved Africans worked in the construction of buildings and roads, as well as domestic work such as cooking, cleaning, and au pairing. Enslaved Africans in rural areas worked on cotton plantations, as well as in vineyards, processing wine and pisco, Peru's national drink.
Across Peru today, you can visit former haciendas or plantations, where Peru's wealthy elite once lived. Here, you'll find secret slave tunnels.
Many of the haciendas sit on top of a secret labyrinth of tunnels that stretch for many kilometres under the ground. These tunnels were used to smuggle in enslaved Africans so that slave owners could avoid paying tax on their products.
The abolition of slavery in Peru came in two main stages. In 1821, a decree was passed called Freedom of the Womb, which meant that anyone born to an enslaved mother from then on was born free. It wasn't until 1854 that slavery was totally and officially abolished. The first Afro-descendant saint in Latin America was a mixed-race Peruvian man named Martín, who is today known as San Martín de Porres. He was born in 1579 to a Spanish father and an Afro-Panamanian mother who had formerly been a slave.
San Martín de Porres was renowned for three supernatural abilities: miraculous healing powers, levitation, and the ability to communicate with animals.
San Martín was dearly beloved, and it's said that when he died in 1639, the whole of Lima attended his funeral. He was canonized by the Pope in 1962 and today is one of the most cherished and revered saints in Peru.
San Martín de Porres is often depicted holding a broom, a symbol of his humility, with a group of animals at his feet: a dog, a cat, and a rat. This represents his ability to unite animals of different species and men of different races. He is the patron saint of mixed-race people and those seeking racial harmony.
From the 1950s onwards, there was a resurgence of Black consciousness in Peru, in part influenced by the civil rights movement of the United States.
Two major pioneers of the Afro-Peruvian social movement of the 1960s and 70s were Victoria Santa Cruz and her brother Nicomedes Santa Cruz. Nicomedes was a songwriter and musicologist who researched and performed Afro-Peruvian folk music. His older sister Victoria was a poet, choreographer, and activist. Together, they formed the seminal Afro-Peruvian dance and theatre collective Cumanana. Both siblings had illustrious careers in their own right and were instrumental in reviving a collective identity among Afro-Peruvians. Ballumbrosio was a legendary Afro-Peruvian musician and dancer who worked to preserve over 20 Afro-Peruvian folkloric songs and dances. Together with his wife Guadalupe, he had 15 children, all of whom he taught his ancestral music to. Today, the Ballumbrosio family continued to perform worldwide, as well as in their family home in El Carmen. Susana Vaca is an Afro-Peruvian singer and musician and two-time Latin Grammy Award winner. In 2011, she became the Minister of Culture for Peru and was the country's first Afro-Peruvian government minister. Afro-Peruvian culture manifests itself most prominently in food and music. The two best-known styles of Afro-Peruvian music and dance are zapateo and festejo. Percussive instruments are key to both genres and include the checo, the quijada, and of course the cajon. Examples of Afro-Peruvian cuisine include the beloved dish anticucho, made from cow's heart, and the turrón, a biscuit-based dessert flavored with aniseed and decorated with hundreds and thousands. One of the most revered chefs in Peru was Teresa Izquierdo, nicknamed the Mother of Peruvian Cooking. Chef and businesswoman Mama Inés has a long-standing and popular restaurant in Guayabo.
In 2009, the Peruvian government formally apologized to its Afro-descendant community for centuries of abuse, exclusion, and discrimination. While this was a landmark moment for the Black community in Peru, there is still a long way to go.
Racist and degrading depictions of Black people remain an issue in Peru. Caricatures of Black people in art and culture, as well as blackface on TV, is still widely seen and accepted, though there are groups who openly contest it.
Racism remains ingrained into Peruvian society, and many Afro-Peruvians continue to face discrimination. While indigenous Andean culture is celebrated in Peru and heavily marketed to tourists as a cornerstone of Peruvian identity, Afro-Peruvian culture does not receive the same level of recognition or attention.
Every year, June the 4th is celebrated as Afro-Peruvian Day. The Ministry of Culture holds an annual event in December called Somos Familia, which unites Afro-Peruvian organizations across the country. Organizations such as Ashanti, Asoned, and the Peruvian Rastafarian Society continue to do grassroots work among the community. When it comes to the younger generations, bloggers, activists, artists, and entrepreneurs like Chica Afro-Peruana, La Chola Negra, Las Respondas, Aileen Maite, Styla, and El Ballet Afro-Peruano del Callao work to foster Afro-Peruvian culture, consciousness, and pride among Peruvian millennials.
Freedom.